Hi everyone, welcome to English Story School, where we make learning English fun and engaging through the power of storytelling. Let's embark on this exciting journey together. When was the last time you gave someone a compliment that made them stop in their tracks and smile? Think about it. Genuine compliments are powerful. They can brighten someone's day, change the mood of a room, or even deepen a relationship. But how often do we really go out of our way to give them? That's where the compliment challenge comes in. Today, we're diving into this simple but incredibly meaningful activity, where you're challenged to give at least 5 thoughtful, sincere compliments in a single day. It might sound easy, but there's more to it than you think. So why a challenge based on compliments? Why is something as simple as saying something nice to someone so powerful that it deserves its own challenge? The answer might seem obvious. Compliments make people feel good, but there's so much more beneath the surface. Compliments aren't just nice words. They have the power to shift perspectives, build confidence, and even change someone's entire day, if not their outlook on themselves. In our fast-paced lives, we often forget just how impactful those small, positive moments can be. That's why the compliment challenge is so important. It's about actively creating those moments and recognizing the power that lies within a few kind words. Let's think about compliments in a deeper way. When we receive a compliment, especially one that's sincere and specific, it does something to us. It acknowledges our strengths, our efforts, and the things that make us unique. It's almost like someone is holding up a mirror, reflecting back a positive version of ourselves that we might not always see. And that reflection, it sticks with us. Compliments can boost confidence, change the way we view ourselves, and encourage us to keep doing the things we're good at. Whether it's telling someone how impressive their work was, or appreciating how thoughtful they are, those words have a ripple effect. A single compliment can leave someone feeling more valued, more capable, and more seen. It's not just a fleeting, feel-good moment. It can have a lasting impact. But here's the thing. Despite all the positive effects compliments can have, we don't give them out nearly as often as we should. Why? Most of the time, it's because we assume the other person already knows. We think, oh, they must realize how great they are at their job. Or, they're probably told all the time how funny or kind they are. So we stay quiet. Or sometimes, we hold back because we're shy, or we're worried that our compliment will come off as awkward or forced. It's easy to think, what if I say something and it feels weird, or they don't react the way I expect? These are the kinds of thoughts that stop us from spreading positivity. But the truth is, people don't hear enough compliments, definitely not as many as they deserve. The reality is, most people walk around with a lot of self-doubt or feelings of being underappreciated, even if they don't show it. We often assume that confident people know how talented or amazing they are, but that's rarely the case. Think about the last time someone complimented you on something that really mattered. Maybe it was your hard work, your kindness, or your creativity. How did it make you feel? Probably pretty great, right? And even if you already knew those things about yourself, hearing someone else recognize them can reinforce that belief and give you a little boost of confidence. That's why compliments matter. They remind us of our value in ways we often forget. This challenge is all about breaking through those hesitations and pushing yourself to step outside your comfort zone. It's about going beyond the typical surface-level interactions we have every day and taking the time to really see the people around you, whether it's your family, friends, colleagues, or even strangers. It's so easy to fall into the routine of passing by people, nodding in acknowledgement, or having quick conversations without really thinking about the unique qualities those people bring into your life. The compliment challenge asks you to pause for a moment and look a little closer. What is it about that coworker who's always calm under pressure, or that friend who has an incredible sense of humor? What is it that makes them stand out to you? These are the things worth recognizing, and once you start paying attention, you'll realize there's a lot more to appreciate about the people around you than you might have thought. Think about your own circle, your family, your friends, the people you work with. When was the last time you told them something you genuinely appreciate about them? Not just a casual thanks or good job, but a real, heartfelt compliment. The compliment challenge is about pushing yourself to have those meaningful moments. It's not always easy. Sometimes it feels awkward to say something out of the blue, especially if you're not used to it. But that's exactly the point. This challenge is meant to stretch you. It's about getting out of your comfort zone and recognizing the amazing things about the people around you, the things they might not even realize about themselves. It's easy to think that we know our loved ones well enough to assume they don't need to hear compliments. But you'd be surprised. The reality is, people rarely hear the positive things that others think about them. We assume they know, but they don't. Complimenting someone can feel like you're giving them a gift of acknowledgement, validation, and appreciation. And the best part? It's free, it's simple, and it can make a huge difference in how someone feels, even if just for a moment. And this challenge doesn't stop with people you know. Complimenting a stranger can be one of the most powerful interactions you'll have during your day. Imagine being in a coffee shop and you notice someone wearing a really unique, stylish outfit. Instead of just thinking it to yourself, you take the plunge and say, "I love your style. That jacket is amazing." You might be surprised at how much that can brighten someone's day, especially someone you don't know. Compliments from strangers carry a special kind of weight because they're completely unexpected, and they remind us that others notice the small things we might not think are significant. So, the compliment challenge is about more than just tossing out kind words. It's about being mindful, being present, and taking the time to recognize the positive qualities in the people around you. It's about pushing through the hesitation and realizing that your compliment could be exactly what someone needs to hear. Whether it's a compliment that boosts someone's confidence, lifts their mood, or simply makes them smile, you never know the lasting impact a few words can have. And that's what makes this challenge so powerful. It's not just about you. It's about creating connections, spreading positivity, and making the world just a little bit brighter, one compliment at a time. Now, you might be wondering, how do I start? It's easy to feel a bit unsure at first, especially if you're not used to giving compliments beyond the basic "you look nice" or "good job." But here's the thing. Compliments are most powerful when they come from a place of authenticity. What does that mean exactly? It means that your compliment should be real, thoughtful, and come from genuinely observing something special about the other person. Anyone can say something nice, but a true compliment digs a little deeper. It's about showing the other person that you see them, that you've noticed something unique about who they are or what they've done. That's when compliments start to carry real weight. Let's break it down. Instead of going for a generic compliment like, "You look great today," which is nice, but kind of surface level, try to focus on what truly makes that person stand out. Did they do something recently that impressed you? Maybe they handled a stressful situation with grace, or they went out of their way to help someone. These are the kinds of things people often overlook, but they're exactly the moments that deserve recognition. For example, you could say something like, "I was really impressed by how patient you were during that meeting. You stayed calm even when things got tense, and that really stood out to me." Do you see how that goes beyond just being nice? It's specific, it's meaningful, and it shows that you're paying attention to who they are as a person. Another great example of a powerful compliment is recognizing someone's creativity. Creativity is one of those traits that often goes unspoken, even though it can be one of the most inspiring and impactful qualities a person can have. Think about that one friend who always seems to have the most unique ideas, or the coworker who consistently brings a fresh perspective to every project or meeting. It's easy to just say something like, "Great idea," in passing, but imagine how much more meaningful it would be to truly acknowledge their creativity in a deeper way. For instance, instead of the generic "great idea," you might say something like, "I always love how you think outside the box. You have such a creative mind, and your ideas really inspire me." Now, that's a compliment that goes beyond just recognizing what they did. It's not just about the result, like the idea they came up with. It's about recognizing how they approach things, the unique way their mind works, and why it matters to you personally. You're not only complimenting their creativity, but you're also acknowledging that their way of thinking makes an impression on you. It's specific, thoughtful, and personal, which makes it much more impactful. Compliments like these don't just acknowledge the action. They highlight a deeper quality that the person might not even realize others notice. Creativity is often something people take for granted about themselves, especially if it comes naturally to them. They might not even be aware that their way of thinking stands out to others. So when you take the time to highlight their creativity in such a thoughtful way, you're showing them that their talents and their way of thinking are truly valued and admired. And for someone who might not hear that very often, this kind of compliment can be a game changer. Let's dig deeper into why complimenting creativity can be so powerful. Creativity isn't just about coming up with ideas. It's about problem solving, innovation, and looking at the world through a different lens. Often, creative thinkers bring perspectives that others might miss or overlook. Maybe they suggest an unconventional approach to a project at work, or they have a knack for combining ideas in a way that no one else thought of. Creativity can also come through in how someone communicates, organizes their thoughts, or even decorates their home. But because creativity is such a broad and sometimes abstract trait, it often goes unappreciated. That's why, when you take the time to compliment someone's creative mind, you're validating a core part of who they are. Consider how transformative this can be for someone. If you're the kind of person who's naturally creative, you may sometimes feel misunderstood or even undervalued, especially if your ideas are a little outside the norm. You might not always get the recognition you deserve because people are focused on the more tangible outcomes, like whether an idea worked or if it led to immediate success. But creativity often requires trial and error, experimentation, and a willingness to think differently. So when someone compliments your creativity, they're acknowledging not just the result, but the entire process that got you there. It's saying, "I see the way your mind works, and I appreciate how your unique perspective contributes to something bigger." This kind of compliment also encourages people to keep being creative. When you tell someone that their ideas inspire you or that you love the way they think, it reinforces that they should keep bringing those fresh perspectives to the table. It boosts their confidence, not just in that one idea, but in their ability to think creatively moving forward. Suddenly, they feel more empowered to share their thoughts take risks, and embrace their originality, knowing that it's appreciated by others. And there's an interesting thing that happens when you start giving compliments like this. It opens up a new level of connection between you and the person you're complimenting. Instead of just being surface-level praise, it becomes an exchange of mutual respect and understanding. When you compliment someone's creativity, you're saying, "I value the way you see the world." That kind of recognition can create a bond between people because it goes beyond the usual niceties and taps into something more meaningful. It's not just about what they did, it's about who they are. Another important aspect of complimenting creativity is that it often encourages people to explore their creative potential even further. When someone hears that their ideas or their approach to problem solving is appreciated, it sparks something within them. They may feel inspired to push their boundaries, to try new things, or to bring even more of their unique thinking to the forefront. Your compliment can act as a kind of fuel, motivating them to continue embracing and showcasing their creative gifts. For example, let's say you work with someone who's always finding clever solutions to problems in the office. Instead of just thanking them for fixing the issue, you could say, "I'm always impressed by how quickly you come up with creative solutions. You have a way of seeing things from angles the rest of us might miss, and that's something I really admire about you." Now, you're not just appreciating the fact that they solved a problem, you're appreciating the skill and mindset they used to get there. That kind of compliment doesn't just acknowledge the result, it shows that you value their creativity as an ongoing, valuable part of who they are. It's a compliment that sticks because it's not fleeting or tied to one specific instance. The beauty of this kind of compliment is that it encourages more creativity, not just from the person you're complimenting, but from yourself as well. When you start noticing and appreciating creativity in others, you also start to see the world in a more creative way. You begin to recognize how different minds bring different strengths to the table, and that kind of awareness can inspire you to think more creatively yourself. Complementing creativity, in a way, helps to cultivate more creativity in everyone involved. So, the next time someone impresses you with their unique ideas or fresh perspective, take a moment to give them a compliment that goes beyond just, "Great idea." Dig deeper, recognize the thought process behind it, and let them know how much their creativity inspires you. You might be surprised at how much that means to them and how it strengthens your connection with them. Compliments like these not only boost confidence and morale, but also foster a culture of appreciation and creativity that benefits everyone. And here's the real secret. The more specific your compliment, the more powerful it becomes. Specific compliments hit home because they show that you've taken the time to really observe something unique about that person. It feels personal and sincere, and it's much harder to brush off. Let's face it, we've all been on the receiving end of vague compliments. And while they're nice, they don't always feel like they mean much. But when someone tells you something like, "I really admire the way you always stay calm under pressure. It's something I strive for, and I notice it in you every time we're in a tough situation." It sticks with you. It makes you feel seen in a way that's deeper and more lasting. There's also a bonus here. When you give specific, thoughtful compliments, it not only makes the other person feel good, but it builds stronger connections. People remember how you made them feel. They'll remember that you took the time to notice something real about them, and that builds trust and rapport. Compliments are like little bridges that bring people closer, and the more sincere and targeted they are, the stronger those bridges become. So, as you go about giving compliments, Try to focus less on the surface and more on the substance. What stands out about this person? What have they done recently that impressed or inspired you? What qualities do they have that you genuinely admire? And when you answer those questions, make sure your compliment reflects that. It doesn't have to be long or overly complicated. It just needs to be genuine and specific. But don't stop there. This challenge isn't just about giving compliments. It's also about paying attention to how people react. When you offer someone a sincere compliment, something magical can happen. You'll notice it almost immediately. Their whole demeanor might shift. Maybe it's a subtle change, like a softening in their posture or a slight lift in their expression. But sometimes it's like flipping a switch. Their eyes light up, their face breaks into a smile, and suddenly the room feels a little brighter. It's amazing how such a small, thoughtful gesture can spark a moment of real connection, even in the middle of an ordinary day. Think about this. We live in a fast-paced world where most of us are focused on getting from point A to point B, tackling our to-do lists, or just getting through the day. In that rush, people don't always get the appreciation they deserve. And that's where your compliment comes in, almost like a little ray of sunshine piercing through the noise. It's like saying, "Hey, I see you, and I value what you bring to the table." That acknowledgement, especially when it's unexpected, can be incredibly powerful. It's more than just words. It's validation, recognition, and in many cases, a mood lifter that someone didn't even know they needed. And here's the best part. It's not just the person receiving the compliment who benefits. You'll notice that when you give positive energy, it has a way of coming back to you. It's almost like a boomerang effect. There's something incredibly satisfying about making someone's day a little better. Think about the last time you did something kind for someone else. Whether it was holding the door open, sending an encouraging message, or offering a genuine compliment. Chances are, you felt good afterward, right? That's because when you create a positive moment for someone else, you're also feeding your own sense of well-being. It's not just about making someone smile. It's about how that interaction makes you feel. There's a reason why people say giving is receiving. When you give a compliment, you're contributing to a culture of positivity. You're actively choosing to lift someone up instead of staying silent. And in doing so, you create a ripple effect of good vibes. It could be something as simple as telling your coworker, "Hey, I really appreciate how you always bring fresh ideas to the table. It makes working with you so much better." Not only does that compliment make them feel seen and valued, but you'll likely walk away feeling lighter and more connected to that person too. In fact, some studies suggest that giving compliments activates the reward centers of your brain, releasing feel-good chemicals like dopamine. It's literally hardwired into us to feel joy when we do something nice for someone else. And in a challenge like this, where you're going out of your way to spread kindness, you'll likely find yourself feeling happier and more fulfilled as you go along. It's like a feedback loop of positivity. The more compliments you give, the more you start noticing the good in people around you, and the more that energy comes back to you. What's really interesting is how this can shift your mindset over time. When you start actively looking for things to compliment, you train your brain to notice the positives more often. Instead of focusing on what's wrong or what's missing, you start seeing the small victories, the personal strengths, the unique traits that make people who they are. And that's where the real magic of this challenge kicks in. Your own outlook starts to shift. You become more aware of the good, and that simple act of appreciation becomes contagious. So, as you embark on the compliment challenge, don't just focus on the words you're giving. Take note of the reactions, the energy shifts, and how those little moments of connection make you feel. Pay attention to the joy that spreads through the conversation, however brief it may be. You'll quickly realize that giving compliments isn't just a feel-good exercise for others, it's a gift for yourself too. By spreading positive energy, you create a ripple of kindness that not only touches those around you, but also lifts your own spirits in ways you might not have expected. As you go through the compliment challenge, keep a mental note of how each interaction feels. At first, giving compliments might feel a little awkward or unnatural, especially if you're not used to expressing your thoughts out loud. But here's the thing. Like anything in life, it gets easier with practice. Complimenting others is a skill, just like learning to play an instrument or mastering a new hobby. The more you do it, the more natural it becomes, and before you know it, it could even become a habit, something you do instinctively without even thinking twice. In the beginning, you might feel a little self-conscious. Maybe you'll overthink the compliment or wonder if the person will take it the right way. That's totally normal. But what's interesting is how quickly that changes. The more compliments you give, the more you'll notice the positive energy that comes from those interactions. You'll start seeing just how impactful a few kind words can be. And that's what fuels the habit. It's almost addictive in the best way possible. When you see how someone lights up from a heartfelt compliment, it makes you want to do it again and again. Here's the key. As you go through each interaction, take a moment afterward to reflect on how it went. How did the person respond? Did you notice a shift in their mood or body language? How did you feel afterward? Pay attention to these small details because this challenge isn't just about giving compliments. It's about building awareness and connection. You're training yourself to recognize the good in others, and in doing so, you're also learning more about human interactions and the power of kindness. What's really fun is that you'll start to notice that complimenting people becomes less of a challenge and more of a way of life. It's like flexing a muscle. You'll find yourself looking for things to appreciate in others naturally. And that's where the magic happens. When you start complimenting people regularly, it shifts your mindset. You stop focusing on the negatives or the things that annoy you, and instead, you start noticing the little things that make people unique and special. It could be something as simple as admiring how organized someone is, or noticing how someone's sense of humor lightens the mood. These are the things we often overlook in our daily rush, but when you start to pay attention, it's like opening your eyes to a whole new world of positivity. But here's where it gets even more exciting. You don't have to do this challenge alone. Why not invite your friends or family to join you? Turning the compliment challenge into a group activity can make it even more engaging and, honestly, more fun. Imagine this. You and your friends make a pact to see who can give the most meaningful compliments by the end of the day. You could keep track of how many people you compliment, or even share the most memorable reactions you received. Maybe someone's compliment made a stranger's day, or maybe one of your friends got a really touching response from a family member they've never complimented before. The stories that come out of this can be heartwarming and hilarious all at once. And let's not forget, the competitive element adds an extra layer of excitement. You could turn it into a friendly competition. Who can give the most thoughtful, heartfelt compliments? Maybe you and your friends set a goal, like complimenting 5 people before lunch, and then meet up later to share your experiences. You'd be surprised how motivating a little friendly rivalry can be, especially when the outcome is spreading positivity. Plus, it's a great way to bond with others through shared experiences. You'll not only get to laugh about the funny or unexpected moments, but you'll also get to reflect on how good it felt to make someone else smile. This group aspect also amplifies the ripple effect. When multiple people are out there giving compliments, it starts to spread even faster. Imagine the chain reaction that could happen if each person you complimented passed on a compliment to someone else. It's like a domino effect of kindness and positivity spreading throughout your day, your community, and beyond. One simple compliment could start a wave of good vibes that reaches farther than you ever anticipated. And in a world that can sometimes feel disconnected, that's a pretty powerful thing. And here's the best part. Even after the challenge officially ends, you might find that the habit sticks. Complimenting others becomes second nature, and soon enough, you'll be sprinkling genuine compliments throughout your day without even thinking about it. That's when you know the challenge has truly succeeded, not just because you completed it, but because it changed the way you interact with the world. So, grab your friends, your family, even your co-workers, and dive into the compliment challenge together. You'll be amazed at how quickly the mood shifts, how much fun you have, and how this simple challenge can brighten not only someone else's day, but yours too. With that said, thanks for watching, and until next time.